as far as Monmouth goes, I think Kevin Callahan has been there a long time. He's well respected as a coach up in the Northeast. He's the guy that's really built that program. He always does a sound job and does a very, very good job of preparing. Well, we did a good job of handling them a year ago. They actually had the right guys in the right place. I thought we just had a very good game a year ago against them. But we know we need to be prepared. We know they will be prepared. Last week against Liberty, that upset of Liberty is the first time they've ever beat a nationally ranked opponent. They're excited about that. Now they have us coming in, and they've certainly seen the games that we've played where a number of our games have been reasonably close, and with a break here or there could have gone in other directions. It's homecoming plus another week at home plus a tremendous upset over Liberty. I have no doubt they're going to be jacked up, excited, ready to go. From an offensive perspective, when I look at what they do, they're number 3 in the conference in passing. I think they're number 2 in the conference in passing touchdowns. The quarterback's a redshirt freshman, but he's a very good athlete. He gets himself out of trouble. If you give him green, he's going to just go and take it. In the passing game, he's still learning, but he's a good athlete. He's got a good arm. He's got 2 very good receivers. And Ambush, I think a smaller kid. I think he's number 7. And then a kid by Reggie White Jr., who's a bigger kid. They're both good players and both very, very different. You got to know what both of those guys are. They have Cheney, I think, is their offensive back. He was second-team All-Conference a year ago. He's averaging over 100 yards a game, I believe. So the quarterback can throw the ball and can run and pass. He's a good athlete. The running back will make plays. The 2 receivers will make plays. They have 4 of the 5 offensive linemen that are back from last year that played or started most of the season ago. They're not afraid. They're not afraid to zone read you, and they do a pretty good job of that. They're not afraid of play action. Excellent job in terms of screens and draws. And not afraid to run the ball on 3rd and 8, not afraid to pass the ball on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. So we got to make sure we execute on defense. From a defensive, their defense, with regard to their defense, they have the number 1 tackler in the league, and this kid Basili, who's a defensive back for them. He comes up, he does a phenomenal job coming up and run support. They have 2 guys that have a couple of interceptions. They have 9 sacks. That's not a whole lot, but put in perspective, that's more sacks than we have. They did a great job, I think, in terms of shutting down, Liberty a week ago. They'll mix up their man in zones. They'll do a decent job of disguising their pressures. From a special teams perspective, the sound across the board. They'll give you different formations on punt. They'll give you the different formations, kind of like we do with regards to extra point stuff. So that takes a while to prepare against. They execute those things pretty well. They're solid on their returns. Their kid, what's the kicker's name? White. So the kicker, I like the kid. He did a good job. He both kicks and punts. He averaged about 38.5 yards or so on his punts. He's pretty consistent with those. There was a big wind on their field against Liberty last week, and he did a good job of kicking the ball lower into the wind and taking advantage of the wind the other way. So they were kicking low into the wind, maybe 27, 28 yards, but they're tough to handle, and they'd get a good roll. And with the wind, he was kicking them over 50 yards. So that showed me some poise for his first time as a starter. He's 8 for 12 on his field goals, I think, and he's 17 for 17 on his PATs. But on his field goals, he's done a good job of kicking those under pressure when he needed to. So with Liberty coming, they're beating Liberty. Liberty comes from behind at the end of the 4th quarter. These guys drive down the field. They kick a clutch field goal. Then they win and they kick another clutch field goal in overtime. He did both of those. So good solid kid, and they wound up doing a good job. From an offensive perspective, I think we've got to be, again, we can't hurt ourselves in the red zone. We can't have the mistakes that we've made. We had too many of those against PC. Our defense, we're trying to simplify to eliminate mistakes. We don't want assignment mistakes. We just can't have assignment mistakes. I'm pleased with what we've seen so far in practice this week. And special teams has had a great first half of the year. I expect that we will continue to do well in special teams for the second half of the year. And overall, with last week having a bye, you want me to talk about the bye week?
Yeah, is there anything specific to it?
Yeah, okay, so let me stop there. Questions?
How'd the bye week help you?
Okay, I'd rather not talk about the bye week. Any other questions? In terms of what we did, go back, we practice on Sundays. We have meetings and practice on Sundays. The kids get off on Monday. We did meet on Sunday, but we gave the guys practice off on Sunday. Then Monday, as always, we had 3 full practices, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We conditioned after each of those. We went after it pretty hard. The emphasis for those 3 days was the coaching staff's directive was to look at the 5 games we have left in the regular season, and of the teams we're playing, what is it that they do that we haven't yet prepared for? So, for example, this happens to be this happens to be Monmouth, but that's just a coincidence. They run a pro punt as opposed to a spread punt. We haven't worked pro punt much this year because we haven't seen it yet. So that was something we were going to do. So offensively, defensive, special teams, what is it we're going to see the next 5 weeks that we haven't really seen yet? Or what is it that teams do over the next 5 weeks, doesn't matter who it is, that we have struggled with, something that they do that we struggle with. That was the entire emphasis for the 3 days. So the entire emphasis was second half of the season, what are we going to see that we haven't seen yet? What are we going to see that we're not doing a good job with yet? And that was it. And we had 3 good practices. Then the guys had Friday and Saturday off, as did the coaching staff. Everybody came back on Sunday ready to go. We had regular practice and stuff on Sunday. Certainly Sunday, 100% was about Monmouth, and certainly everything this week's about Monmouth.
How's Alex? Is he close to 100%? And is Calvin back this week?
Calvin's probable. I think he'll be okay, but he's probable right now. Alex right now looks as healthy as he's been, I think, since he's hurt his ankle.
I know you don't focus on records much, but we're going to talk about Hop this week, going for the FCS second games with a touchdown record. It's a pretty special mark. No player in history's done more games in a row with a touchdown. What's that say about him and the kind of player he's been for you?
Well, he's done a great job for us. I think everybody knows that. I think, though, there's a consistency here. So you can't ever run your team with the idea that you're going to try to get a record. You can't think that way. You just can't think that way. But, excuse me, but by the way we're set up, Hop's certainly going to have his opportunities, and we're not going to hesitate to give him the ball any place on the field. So he's certainly going to have his opportunities to score, assuming we're in position to be able to do that. I think with the fact, nobody talks about that. If the kids are talking about it, they're not talking about it in front of me, in front of us. Coach staff's not talking about it, but we're aware that that's an important milestone, and certainly we'd like to be supportive in terms of that, but that's secondary. We've got to call the game as we see fit, and the priority is just to maximize what we need to do as far as the game goes. But that would be a great record, and I certainly hope he gets that.
Coach, you alluded to a minute ago saying that the breaks that you guys have helped you win a couple of games. Well, you said sometimes you got to.
Sometimes if breaks, the point I was making, if you get breaks against you,
right.
I don't know how many breaks we've gotten, but if you have bad breaks against you, that could cost you a game. Yeah.
Do you feel that this year, for some reason, maybe compared to last season, where you guys rolled over some teams? I mean, last year it seemed like offensively you guys were putting up points, you were rolling past people. This year is a little bit different story. It seems like these are harder fought games. You guys are coming down on the wire. You're winning by 7, 6, however it may be. What may be the issue there, or is there really an issue, or are teams just coming at you guys a little differently than they were last year?
I think teams. See, I don't buy the fact you're ranked number 1, so everybody's going to prepare against. Everybody that came in last year came in trying to beat us or prepared to beat us. That was their objective. Everybody's doing the same thing this year. I think the teams are doing a good job of that this year, but I don't know if there's any different reason for that. I think our offense, relative to the offense that we've normally had, I think we've had an elite offense for the end of our first season together and all of 2013-14. And this year we're playing well and we're moving the ball well, but we're hurting ourselves when we have scoring opportunities. So there are numerous opportunities for us. We get inside the 30-yard line, we kind of expect to score touchdowns. Most of the time we're not doing that. When you analyze that, 2/3 of the time we don't, is because we did something stupid. We had a stupid penalty. We jumped off sides. We may have had a turnover. Dumb mistakes and kind of stuff that we shouldn't have done mistakes on. So we've kind of beaten ourselves. Now, we're all making a commitment as a team this year that the second half of the season is something that we really got to be focused on. The poise and the discipline associated with, we know what we need to do. If there are things that we are consistently making mistakes on, then it's the coach's job. Let's stop doing those things. Whatever it is, don't do those anymore. Don't even do them. We've already been together now for 6 weeks this season playing games. So we've got to be able to eliminate that. So if the other team beats us, so be it. They deserve that. But when we screw up on something we've run 50 times and we mess up the assignment or we jump off sides and we're doing more of that stuff in the red zone than not, then that's what's costing us. I think that's been the difference with our offense. I think our defense is more consistent than what we were a year ago, but we've had too many breakdowns as well. And I think they started against Western Illinois, and we're trying to fight our way back from that. I'm still optimistic that our defense, I think, can play good football, can play good, consistent football. I have no doubt that our offense still has potential to be an elite offense. We haven't done that yet, but we can do that. Just eliminate the stupid mistakes we have. And a big piece of that's the coaching. Big piece of that is let's stop asking our guys to do something that we're struggling with. And special teams has been very, very solid. And I would hope we continue to compound on the success that the special teams have, and we tweak things a little bit to make it better. When you're struggling, you don't add stuff. You take away stuff, but that means you're starting all over. And then you lose the effect of the compounding. So we've had to do that a little bit this year. And hopefully, that's not going to happen to us in the second half. We can build from here.
Respective of the conference race, what was your reaction to seeing Liberty lose twice already?
I was surprised. I know Gardner-Webb's supposed to be a good team, and Gardner-Webb's a good team. Period. I think we're just finding out now how good they really are. I was surprised to see Monmouth beat Liberty. I think Liberty playing Monmouth at Monmouth after the loss to Gardner-Webb didn't look like the Liberty you see when Liberty's playing home at nighttime and kind of really going after it. So it's almost like Liberty seems to have like two teams, the team that's really kind of going out and going after it, and another team that's not going through the motions, just kind of too many mistakes, just not as consistent, not executing as well. But I don't think anybody in the league would have thought that Liberty would lose 2 games, let alone 2 games at this point of the year. Now, give credit to Gardner-Webb and give credit to Monmouth. Monmouth did a good job against them. So don't underestimate that. I think the other team, too, that's doing a good job, even the record doesn't necessarily show it, is PC. So remember when they were playing us, I talked about, remember their record's a little misleading. They held their own against 2 FBS schools and the number 7A, number 8 team in the country, the FCS level in Chattanooga. They played us very tough. They played Charleston Southern very tough. And Charleston Southern's a very good team. So the league looks really solid. The league really does look very solid.
Well, then, Baldy, just how excited are you?
Go for it.
I'm very excited. It's the first time I'll be playing this close to home since I've been playing. Not many of my family members have been able to make it down to see me, so this will be the first time some of my family have seen me play since high school.
I'm excited as well. It's going to take me back to the high school days. I used to always have a big crowd of family out there at the games, every game to support me, whether it was T-shirts or signs or whatever. My family's going to be out there real strong.
Bruce, coming off the last game, you said the offense was going to get it right and be much more explosive for the second of the season. What do you think you guys addressed or fixed or got right?
Well, during the bye week, Coach Patton was getting on us real hard. We weren't executing in the red zone during the season, so we did a lot of red zone work. Anytime we didn't score, we had some type of discipline for it during the bye week, and eventually you're going to get sick of doing that, right? So I think about Thursday, we started turning it around, and then Sunday you could actually see the big turnaround, us picking it up from where we had last year, executing in the red zone. People getting excited. Everybody just having fun with the game again.
You mentioned Hobbs' record. How much are the teammates, you guys aware of that or talking about that?
I'm real aware of it. Me and Hop live next door to each other, so he tries not to think about it, but I'm going to remind him every time, like, Hop, one more. You could break it at Monmouth. The person who had, I think, attended Monmouth University, if I'm not mistaken. What better way not to break it at the person's home field?
Defensive focus during the bye week was Coach Carlin literally like drilled consistency and focus, like laser focus. So like walkthroughs, everything. Like it's no talking, it's straight laser beam focus. Because like when we're consistently focused and handling our job, we're doing the thing out there. But when we have those mental breakdowns, then that big play happens. So it really don't always, like, the stats and stuff of the game don't reflect like really how it's going on. It's just those mental errors that give up those big plays, and then it makes it look worse than really what it was.
What stands out to you offensively from what Monmouth does well?
The quarterback, his elusiveness, that stands out a lot. So our D-line is definitely going to have to contain him. And, we got to, as defensive backs and linebackers, like, get those coverage sacks, make sure we own those guys so we can give them time to get to them. As well, they run a lot of trick plays, and they have been landing a lot of them. So we definitely have to be disciplined and focus and make sure we getting all our keys and not getting our eyes in the wrong places.
Do you come away from that feeling pretty confident about what y'all can do down the stretch, making improvements, things like that?
Definitely. And the reason why I feel like the confident is because it's a different like aroma, like it's a different feeling on the field. Like everybody's like jumping around. Somebody makes a play, it don't get looked past. Like everybody's good job. Everybody's out there like just working. It's like this second half team is definitely going to be something to watch.
Coach talked about maybe simplifying the defense a little bit. How much does that help y'all?
Simplifying the defense, it helps us to where we can focus. We don't have to think about all the different, coverages. Like, we got these good, like, 8 or 9 coverages, and then how we can put those 8 or 9 coverages against each different type of play and things like that. It actually gives you the opportunity to change it up on them without having to think about it as much. It's more of we get to go play instead of thinking about what I got to do on this.
What was your all's reaction to seeing them beat Liberty last week?
I was, a little shocked. I thought Liberty was going to go down there and handle business, but, that just goes to show you can't take your opponents lightly. Monmouth came ready to play. They was at home, and, they was ready to go. They had the upper hand.
I was happy because I don't like Liberty. I was happy, especially home state. I got a few guys that I play with that attend the Monmouth, so it was good.
Mondays, 100.3 the team. Aaron Marks, Bruce Matt.